One of our goals here at the Future of Real Estate is to help buyers and sellers understand the process of buying and selling real estate so they can make better decisions for themselves. Well, a pitfall in the past, especially before this new Regulation Z came about that required extra notification, one of these pitfalls was the interest rate and closing cost trick. Well, it hasn't gone away, but it's less of an issue. I see this, though, still happening, Steve, at this point where buyers are shopping for a loan and they go in, let's say they call 3 or 4 different lenders and they say, what are your interest rates?
Right.
And one buyer may be shopping interest rates. Another buyer might say, well, what are your closing costs? And they're more concerned about closing costs. And the reality is, since most of these loans are sold on a secondary market, the interest rate should be similar.
Sure.
Not necessarily the same all the time, but there's a lot more than just the interest rate or just the closing costs. They go hand in hand.
Sure.
How does a shopper, someone buying a home, shop for a mortgage?
Well, there's a lot of, it's the internet age, so there's a lot of people that are getting out there on the internet, and there's tons of companies that are on the internet. We're on the internet. The best thing that I would advise a customer to look for is to look for somebody that's local, that they can walk into their office, sit down and meet with someone in person. That
has
company,
a local reputation that
exactly,
they need to uphold.
Sure, and that has somebody that you can go into if there are issues or if there are things that change. The problem with getting on the internet and just grabbing any lender on there is that you're getting some guy that might be in Arkansas or Texas or California, and if they mess you around and change your rate or change your fees just before closing, then you don't have a way to really rectify that in person and sit down and meet with that person.
Well, and part of the issue, this is what's chapped me for many years, is that those changes can sometimes, even though you have the right as a consumer to move and go somewhere else, those changes can be so painful and costly that it's not worth it. And so you're stuck with this loan that you never would have had in the first place had you been properly informed in the beginning.